Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 6 of the Wednesday Night Dash series. Tonight, we are coming to you from Watkins Glen International for Road Course Madness, presented by Showtime Esports Productions. We are just getting into our 15-minute open qualifying here for tonight. The only open qualifying of the season, as we've got our first couple of cars here taking the green flag for their first laps of the night. Or for the first qualifying laps, I should say. We take a look at our standings here before we get started. Heading over to our team standings. Close battle in team points between JM Motorsports and Smoky Mountain Racing. With FR Racing just a tad bit behind them. And then in our driver standings, Dawson is a clear lead and Colton is pretty clear in second. Third place is still a tie between Jeremiah Lockwood and Nicholas Warboy. And Hunter Hughes and Chris Fuge are still sitting there within reach in 5th and 6th, separated by just 4 points. And then Garrett Jarnigan also back there in 7th. We'll get into our road course rules here in a little bit, as there's the 94 way off into the wall. But we'll get into our road course rules here in a bit. But we still got 10 minutes left here of qualifying. Fernando Takashi currently on pole position. Here we are with Ian Miller in the 48. He's on his first time to lap. It's Watkins Glen. A lot of people don't like this track. Personally, though, it's one of my favorites. Maybe not so much in the NASCAR, but anything else here. So here's Ian Miller coming across the line. Gonna put him up to 4th. This is Ian Miller right here. In the 48 car, if this will work for me. Kind of buggy sometimes. He's got one car ahead of him. There we go. Because the time to beat is a 1:12.824. Miller currently about a second off that, getting around the slower car. Got about 10 seconds here to get back to the line. Looks like this lap is going to be a little bit slower than his last. That time was a 1:14.2, so about half a second slower than his best lap. For Ian Miller, still sitting in 4th. This is Ernesto Hidalgo with right now. Here is the doggo across the line. It's a 1:21.7. Just 7 seconds off the pace for him. So we got a couple other cars here. Jax Malin, JP Jones, going for their first lap. Here's Jax Malin in the number 9. Coming across, I believe, to finish his first lap here. Jax Malin? No, that was not for a lap. See, JP Jones. JP Jones across with a 1:18.8. However, I do not think that lap registered, so it must have had an off track or something in there. Here's JP Jones again across the line. That time a 1:17 flat, and that'll put him into 15th. So with about 2.5 minutes left here in qualifying, let's take you through the rules and session info for tonight's race. So just a little bit different for tonight, since we're on a road course. Instead of an extra point for the stage win, it'll be for the fastest lap of the race. And we are in Watkins Glen International, located in upstate New York. The track opened in 1956, about 2.5 miles long for this cup configuration. So we run the bus stop, no boot here. And it's a 30-lap race for tonight. And that will begin in about a minute and a half here, once qualifying finishes up. So coming into the last minute here of qualifying, we're with Colton Gardner right here, looking to set better lap, potentially move up the standings as he's getting the checkered flag for his final lap, and that is wasn't even a lap. So with that concludes our open qualifying session, and now it's time to meet the grid for tonight. Starting in the front row in First position is the number 18 of Hunter Hughes. Alongside him, the 99 of Fernando Takashi. In row 2 is Ian Miller and Mark Vickers. Row 3 is Colton Gardner.
Okay, everybody, let's
and Garrett
remember,
Dronigan.
brakes going into turn 1.
You have to mute that. And then it is Greg Hammond and Dawson Buchanan in row 4. Nicholas Warboy and Eric Richardson, who's yet to grid, in row 5. Row 6 is Chris Fuge and Jax Malin. Wants to let us see some people here. There's Chris Fuge, Jax Malin, and Lane Snow. Trevor Harmson starting 14th. JP Jones starting 15. DJ Fluck 16. Ernesto Hidalgo 17. And John Miles starting in 18th. Get ready for a full pace lap here at Watkins Glen. Dawson Buchanan tonight starting in 8th, and with no stage break, he'll be needing to pass a lot of cars here to get up to the front. So somebody could catch up in the overall standings tonight with a good race. So coming out of the final turn, pace car is going to pull off. And Hunter Hughes is set to take the green flag here at Watkins Glen. Pace car's off. Hunter Hughes leads the field down the front stretch. Green flag in the air. Good start there by Hughes. A little bit of contact behind. There goes the 99. He spins. That was Fernando Takashi. Does not look like anybody made contact with him. As we will go back and look at that start here after things get settled down a little bit. But Hunter Hughes ends up losing the lead to Ian Miller out of that. And a huge breakaway here for these top 4 or 5 cars. So at the end of lap 1, Ian Miller goes to the race lead, and let's take a look. Fernando Takashi back in 15th. Let's go back to this race start here. See what happened to him. So he's on the outside in 3rd. Like he just runs wide and gets loose. Good job holding his brakes, though. Does not hit anybody. Really good job from him and from the rest of the field for avoiding it. And we did have Ernesto Hidalgo back here. After a spin by the 5, Elaine Snow. And that got Ernesto in it, so he is in the pits now. But Ian Miller, your race leader. Seventh back to about 11 here. We had a couple of cars pretty close together. Also got a battle for 3rd going on. This is Mark Vickers in 84 with Colton Gardner and Dawson Buchanan, who started in 8th all the way up to 5th already. Right behind him. Dawson Buchanan in 5th. Behind Colton Gardner in the number 40. Looking to make up a couple more positions. In this 30-lap race. As your leader, Ian Miller, currently holds the fastest lap for that extra bonus point. Hunter Hughes starting to close in, though. About 0.3 quicker that lap. It's Hunter Hughes now. No, Mark Vickers setting the fastest lap of the session. With a 1:12.9, he's in 3rd. We'll see if him and Hunter Hughes are able to hunt down Ian Miller here for the race lead. The gap from Hunter Hughes to Ian Miller staying about the same that lap. Maybe a 10th or so quicker from Hunter Hughes. We'll see it cross the line. Miller ran a 13.2. Hughes and Vickers both ran a 13.1. So a tenth quicker there for both of them. This time Hunter Hughes on a much better lap than Ian Miller. Catches him a couple tenths there through the bus stop and in through the carousel. So that time he drops the gap by about 0.4 of a second and increases it over Mark Vickers by about a second. So the gap about 1.5 seconds right now. We do have a bit of a battle going on back here for 9th. That's the 99 of Fernando Takashi. He's got the 01 of Trevor Harmson out behind him. Gap to the leader from Hunter Hughes to Ian Miller. Staying the same that lap. But Mark Vickers catches up about half a second. So his gap remains at about 3 seconds. Hunter Hughes about 1.5 as they're now coming up on a lapped car of Ernesto Hidalgo. Looks like that helped out Hunter Hughes up through the S's right there. Mark Vickers also getting him at a good spot at the end of the S's and on to the straightaway. Back here for P7, this is Eric Richardson. Behind them, Jax Malin and Fernando Takashi. Takashi looking for a move here. He's going to go for it. No, he's going to back out through the bus stop. Looking for a move there on Jax Malin. Went to his inside and then he thought the better of it, backed out. He's staying though right on his bumper here through the carousel. As they're both quickly coming up on Eric Richardson as well. He's gonna look back to the inside, and that time he's gonna get it. Fernando Takashi up to 8th position and looking for another one here as they come across the start finish, staying right on the bumper of Eric Richardson. He's gonna look to the inside here into turn 1. Little later on the brakes and he'll make that pass with ease around him, and Jax Malin also able to get around Richardson. So Richardson losing 2 spots there in turn 1 to Takashi and Malin. So these top three of Ian Miller, Hunter Hughes, and Mark Vickers all pulling away. About 12 seconds from Colton Gardner in fourth, and then Buchanan in fifth. Mark Vickers making up some ground. Hunter Hughes staying basically the same. Past lap, Mark Vickers. After the past lap, they were all at a 1:13.7, except for Hunter Hughes, he was a 1:13.9. So Vickers caught up to Hughes that lap, but the gap to Ian Miller stays the same for him. Mark Vickers really closing the gap this time on Hunter Hughes. He's got it down to less than a second now, as they're both closing the gap on your leader, Ian Miller. Coming up close to the halfway point of this race. Hunter Hughes, couple of car lengths now, is the gap to Ian Miller. Top three all separated now by just 0.8 of a second. Ian Miller still holding on to the lead. coming up on a lap car. Through the bus stop, here comes Mark Vickers. He's got the gap to about a car length now through the carousel. A little bit of a better drive out of the carousel there for Ian Miller. And now Hunter Hughes also right on the bumper of Vickers. As there's a number 5 of Lane Snow into the wall. Miller continues to lead by now 0.6 of a second. Better second half of the lap there. Pretty good job so far here from Mark Vickers hanging on to the lead, but here comes, or Ian Miller hanging on the lead. Here comes Mark Vickers though on the inside, or I guess he was on the outside, but Vickers much better run out of the corner there. And then behind them we have 4th to 6th. They are battling. We're going to take a look here at our battle for 4th. Buchanan actually getting passed there by Takashi. So that puts him back in 6th position. Get another battle here for 10th with Trevor Harmson and Jax Malin. Back to 4th. Here comes Takashi to the inside of Colton Gardner. into turn 1. Able to get that pass done cleanly, pretty easily for him. Heading back to the front though. Ian Miller still leading. Vickers right there, just unable to find a way to get past him. Ian Miller able to pull away a little bit here. He's got the gap now to about a second over Hunter Hughes, as he's now gotten past Mark Vickers. So it does drop him back, but Hunter Hughes might have a little bit more pace and be able to catch Ian Miller and actually get the pass done. Oh, really loose there from the 18. Hughes has got a car upside down. Able to reset. I'm going to take a look at this. This is the 4th time, I think, we've seen a car there. Who even was that? Not going to let us see, unfortunately. But the 4th time we've seen a car that's crashed in that spot today. Hunter Hughes and Vickers still continuing to fight, as Ian Miller definitely wants to see more of that behind him. And you get all round a lap car there for Vickers. It's going to put him behind a couple of seconds. As Ian Miller up to a 1.5 second gap. Hunter Hughes gonna keep trying to close in those. We got 8, coming up to 8 laps to go. Hunter Hughes getting the gap down a little bit now. Down to a second. A little wide through there. Some lap traffic up ahead that Ian Miller will have to navigate. Hang out of the way there. He's one of the lap cars for Hunter Hughes. So with 8 laps to go, Hunter Hughes has the gap at a second and 7 laps to go. Mark Vickers still behind them. He has fallen back a little bit. He's 3 seconds behind. Big run here for Hunter Hughes. He's got it down to just 7/10. Gonna look for a big run here through the bus stop into the carousel. Ian Miller does have a lap car ahead of him. He's gonna be hoping he gets out of the way. Ian Miller forced to go to the outside of him. Can't really tell who that lap car is. But Hughes able to get around him way easier. It's gonna put the gap to about 5/10 of a second. And if they continue to battle, Mark Vickers might be able to catch back up. Hughes fakes to the inside. He's going to go back to the outside. Oh, huge lockup for Ian Miller. And he goes wide. Hunter Hughes gets through. Vickers gets through. Ian Miller, that puts him 8 seconds back. Now into third. Take a look at this. Hunter Hughes faked him to the inside. Miller ends up missing his braking point, completely locks it up, keeps it out of the wall. Wow, Ian Miller led every lap so far today, all 25 laps, and looks like he's going to have to settle for third here, as Hunter Hughes has just 5 laps to go, trying to take home another victory. Might have a slight battle for 5th here with Buchanan and Colton Gardner. That gap's about a second. Colton Gardner trying to get one more position here. He has caught up that past lap. So they come up to 4 laps to go. Three laps to go for your leader, Hunter Hughes. And for Dawson Buchanan trying to defend Gardner here for 5th. Oh, Colton Gardner. Just way off right there. So 2 laps to go. Looks like Hunter Hughes is going to stay in that 5th spot. So coming to a white flag, Hunter Hughes. He's got about a 4-second gap. And then Mark Vickers, depending on his next lap, still could get caught by Ian Miller. It's a bit of a stretch as the gap's 2.5 seconds, but the last lap for Miller was 2 seconds quicker than that of Mark Vickers. So we'll see. Already down to about a second. Really catches him up through the S's. And he's a good run here out of the bus stop and through the carousel. But he's right there. He's going to look to the inside. So Ian Miller, after locking up and going about 7 seconds back, seems like he's going to come back and finish in second. Hunter Hughes scores the victory. Ian Miller coming back. He'll finish in second. Vickers close behind in third, getting pretty loose there. Coming across the line, here's Takashi. He's coming across the line in fourth. Buchanan's going to be fifth. Gardner sixth. Warboy 7. Richardson 8, Harpson 9, and Jarnigan will round out the top 10 for tonight's race at Watkins Glen. As we will get our standings, not our standings, our results up here. Everyone. DJ Fluck finishing 11th, John Miles 12, JP Jones 13, Christopher Fuge 14, Jax Mannon 15, Lane Snow 16, Ernesto Hidalgo 17, and Greg Hammond finishing in 18th. So we'll wait for these top 3 to join me in the broadcast booth. So we got Ian Miller here, finishing in second. Ian, you got me?
Yeah, I do.
All right, Ian, you led a majority of that race there. About 5 to go. Coming into turn 1, you locked it up. Put yourself about 7 seconds back. Ended up fighting your way back up to second. Kind of just take us through those last 5 or so laps there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a battle between, JP and John there. Obviously, pretty unhappy to be held up 2 laps back to back there. When they had ample time to let the leaders through. And mistake is my mistake. But it was certainly a pressure related mistake, and so the fact that pressure didn't feel particularly necessary was a little bit frustrating.
And then I guess what was your kind of game plan coming into this race? Started in second, I believe. Got to the lead pretty quickly on lap 1.
Yeah, I mean, my goal was to just keep the tires alive. I mean, the tires in these cars are like chocolate. You get them hot once, it doesn't matter how much you cool them down. It's never going to quite be the same shape again. So,
yeah,
seemed like I kept the tires cool and kept them under me. So, can't complain about that too much.
All right, Ian, thank you, and congrats on the podium.
Yeah, thank you.
Hunter Hughes, getting the race win tonight. Hunter, take us through your last 5 or so laps there, fighting with Mark for third, and then ended up getting to the lead.
I mean, it was a pretty cool race all around. It was kind of looking like a Season 6 GT3 race with me, Ian, and Mark all fighting. But man, it felt nice. I was a little not confident coming into tonight. I just felt like I was a couple tenths off. But actually in qualifying is when I was able to find something and find the speed. And starting on pole was a big kind of motivation boost, but obviously I blew turn 1, lap 1, so the fight back was really fun. I'm a little surprised that Fernando wasn't more of a factor. He seemed very, very fast, but maybe he just had issues getting through traffic. But yeah, and then the battle with Mark, I knew Mark was going to be aggressive for most of the race, so once he got past me, I was able to just kind of stay in there, like stayed within a second of Ian and Mark, and was kind of watching them battle it out. And then Mark eventually just kind of fell off, whether that was just poor tire management or what, but he just ended up falling off. And Ian, that was a really good battle all the way until the end. And the lap cars were very interesting tonight, but I think it was. I feel like we raced really cleanly. I was able to get past him with a little trickery, but good racing all around.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Hunter, and congrats on the win.
Thank you.
So there was your top two. Not sure if Mark's going to join us or not. He had not joined at the time, so looks like that'll do it for tonight. From the Wednesday Night Dash, Hunter Hughes coming away with the win. Thank you for everybody that tuned in tonight, and we will see everybody. Actually, I guess we should look at the schedule really quick. Next week we go to Martinsville, so once again, thanks to everybody, and we'll see you next week from Martinsville.